Hey, all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and today I'm joined by Thomas.
What's going on, everybody?
We've got Kyle back,
Hey,
and a very special guest, Allen Dunford.
that's me.
That is you.
Yeah.
I mean, is he even a guest at this point?
No,
I
I'm
feel
family.
like-
Yeah, it's family.
Yeah, you're part of the rotating panel of
Yeah.
hosts, right, Frank?
Yeah, I think so at this point.
Yeah. I like to think if you guys are old like me, then, like a Carson used to have like his animal guy. He's our animal guy that'll just like come on every so often. Next time he's going to bring a chowchilla or whatever and just be like, oh, yeah, look at this.
Very fitting.
Yeah. Before we go too far, actually, Alan, can you tell us, you have a book coming up. Can you tell us about your book real quick?
Yeah. My name is Allen Dunford. I am a comic book writer, and I've written such things as Pocus Hocus, Grandma Chainsaw, and then now we are releasing our first full issue of a comic book series called Horus in Hell.
Yeah. And I thought the full issue was done because I've read it already. And then I was going through, I was like, oh, there's more. Okay. It's cool.
The cover art that you sent over to us, oh my God, everything. Like, I want them all. Like, I want them all printed.
Those guys did such a good job on all this stuff.
I think Horus, I mean, we got to see who wants to do it, but I think Horus deserves to be a tattoo.
Yeah, like we have that our Top Hat Studios logo, and I absolutely love it, and I've considered it getting it tattooed on myself, but I never wanted to be that guy, right? That's like, where are you getting
being that guy?
Oh God, I never want to be that guy.
There's the one panel, the one page where it's just like him standing with like soaked in blood and like all the viscera behind him. Like, that's perfect tattoo right there.
Yeah. What's funny about that one is we haven't told anybody this yet, but we are going to be having Horus in Kit Wallace was kind enough to go ahead and lend us a original piece of artwork, and it's that page. So we're selling that as a one-of, obviously, because there's only one of it on the campaign. Yeah. So that's going to be kind of cool to see how that does.
That is, oh man, okay, that is freaking cool.
Yep.
We'll go deep into Top Hat Studios and everything towards the end of the episode, guys. So please stick around for that. Links in the description though if you guys want to start clicking and watching it while you're listening to this. Before we go too far, let's get our question in for the week. What sci-fi book needs a movie adaptation? Thomas, you and I were talking about my recommendation. I'll go ahead and throw this one in real quick. This is How You Lose a Time War is this book that I'm really into right now. And it's about these two basically time traveling assassins that are hating each other, bragging to each other, then they fall in love, and they're trying to outsmart their own agencies now. And it's super, super good. And it's one of those things that if it's not a movie, it needs to be like something on AMC, some sort of series. I think that'd be a really good choice. Thomas, do you have any options?
Yeah. I mean, to your point on your recommendation though, like the way I was envisioning it is like Kang meets Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I was like, dude, I'm hooked. So you sold me on that. Which might be the first book that's a sci-fi book that I read since I don't have any recommendations. The only thing I could say that's already been done that I loved, and it is based off a book, is called The Peripheral. If you haven't watched it on Amazon Prime, it's like, I don't know, it blew me away. I was like, this is a really interesting, cool story that takes place in sci-fi, and there's two different timelines going on, but the past can interact with the future and the future can interact with the past. And it's really crazy. So yeah, that's my recommendation, but it's already been done since I'm not really a reader.
What do you got for us, Kyle?
Well, yeah, I'll go back to my college days and bring up one I really enjoyed called The Sparrow. It's by Mary Doria Russell.
Okay.
It involves a Jesuit priest who is sent on a mission to an alien planet with a crew of scientists and researchers. And it's basically about his journey of faith and his crisis of faith when he's traumatized by that journey and returns back to Earth. Really fascinating book. And there was ties with Brad Pitt at one point to get a movie made, but the actual author did not like the script or anything involving him.
That's usually the case.
Yeah.
That usually happens.
And I believe now there's like some talk of like an FX show coming out. They're working on it right now.
Oh, wow. Oh, so you're going to get that. Well, did you have? That's pretty cool. Neat.
Really cool book. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Alan, do you have any ideas for us?
Yeah. So obviously, like I'm a really big fantasy fan, and I feel like sometimes that does blur the line for sci-fi. So there's this trilogy of books that I found called Book of the Ancestor by an author named Mark Lawrence. and it follows the story of a girl who is picked up by a convent of assassin nuns and trained in their ways. Now, that may sound very stupid, but the book is awesome. Like, it's a lot of heart in it, and it's a well thought out story. I read all 3 books probably in about 3 days. Like, I couldn't put it down.
Wow.
Yeah, it was incredible. And yeah, that's I think that would be my go-to. Like, off the top of my head, whenever I read that, that was my first thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the first book in the trilogy is called The Red Sister.
The Red Sister.
Yep.
Convent nuns. Okay, that's cool. That's definitely a sales pitch right there. Heading over to our Twitter responses real quick. We have Sean Faust, who says Steel Beach by John Varley. It would be a long film. It needs to be able to be 2 parts. We have Sons and Shadows cast says Drifters Run by William Dietz. Tiger Porn, great name. No, sorry, correction. Tigger Porn, worst name.
Oh, yeah. It went from being a good name to a bad name with one
extra G.
Yeah.
So I had used a picture of Ringworld World, and he was saying that Amazon should be making it. Ringworld's of course a classic sci-fi.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna be listening to Tigger Porn much.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, no, my hot take is about Amazon, but that's a whole nother podcast.
Oh God, right.
Yeah.
And then dorky geeky nerdy trivia says Rendivius with Rama is the suggestion for that one too.
Okay.
And apparently
they covered all the bases there too.
I know, right?
They got them all. Yeah.
So yeah, let us know, guys, on Twitter if you guys have any more options. That would be really good. We're going to be heading into our reviews, and we're going to start off with a spoiler-free review for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And we haven't heard from Kyle in a while on this. Kyle, can you give us your immediate thoughts on Spider-Verse?
Well, just to begin with, I loved the first movie immensely, Into the Spider-Verse, one of my all-time favorite animated movies. So, expectations were really high with Across the Spider-Verse. And overall, I think it was a decent movie. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers, but there were parts of it, like generally speaking, where the dialogue was muffled and hard to hear.
Yeah.
The audio mix was really not done well. And this could be just a product of my old age here.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
30s, but
okay. I couldn't hear some parts too. And I thought, am I going deaf, or can I just not hear what they're saying? And yeah, I guess that was a consensus online. So, all right. Thank you. I'm not crazy.
Well, with Christopher Nolan movies, it's like a hit or miss with that same issue. Like Tenet, for example, had a lot of that as well. And I'm not sure what's going on with the audio mixing in this movie, but there's just a lot of times, like especially at the beginning, where Gwen's like given this role to kind of explain the events of what she's been through while playing the drums at the same time. And it's like, I can't understand anything she's saying.
Yeah. For me, it was Spider-Punk. Like I love that character, but some of the lines, it was just hard for me to hear. And yeah, I was like, man, maybe I'm just going deaf. I don't know.
But, aside from that issue, the movie's plot was really easy to follow. And there were moments where you really had to be paying attention and listening very closely, especially during those heavy action sequences where the dialogue can get lost in translation, excuse me. And overall, I enjoyed the movie. It is what it is. The ending, I'll save that for a spoiler review.
I'll save that for the movie that has the ending.
Yes.
This one.
Yeah, we're gonna get so much internet hate. Kyle and Frank, you're screwed. Twitter's coming for you, man.
I know. Come at me, Twitter. Come at me, bro. No, but really, the movie is fantastic. Especially those action scenes are just amazing.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the action's well done.
The voice acting stellar, and just Miles himself is such a cool character. I did, like I mentioned during Challenge Accepted, hear audible groans and complaints in the theater at the fact that it's a to be continued. And I think that's a marketing problem. I don't think that's a movie problem necessarily. I mean, I felt like my big thing is like when you end something, like when you end Empire Strikes Back, you're like, okay, wow, we have the entire empire to still beat. This, I felt like it give us 10 more minutes and they're just going to like go punch that dude and we're done. We don't need an entire movie for that. So I think that was a problem. And also I've noticed it more now. They're saying part 1. They really should have been pushing a part 1 on this. So the people went in with changed expectations.
Not even so much a part 1, right? If they would have just pushed it as the second installment into the Spider-Verse trilogy.
Yeah.
I think that would have gone over a lot better too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Thomas.
It just seemed, it seemed like us doing what we do, like we were in the know about it. But to your point, Frank, I heard a lot of people at the end go like, "What? That's it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew that was it, but I guess the general public didn't know. So yeah, I agree with both, like all of your points. Really, it's like they should have kind of marketed like, "Hey, there's another movie coming more." You know, that should have been amped up. So yeah.
But it was on its own a very good Spider-Man. And I've been hearing everybody say, you know, where it ranks for them. Many of the people say it's the best movie ever, best superhero movie ever. Personally, I have it behind No Way Home and Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. Do you guys kind of have it somewhere in there, or where do you guys place it?
You go ahead first. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Yeah, I definitely have it behind No Way Home, but it's still, I think, it probably cracks my top 5. Okay. But Into the Spider-Verse for me still holds like a very special place. I love Into the Spider-Verse. It was just so well done, and it was so unique for the time when I watched it. I'm like, man, I've never seen anything like this. So
it's hard to take that away, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about it, Alan?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I was that guy. And I wanted my friend to tell me spoilers in it because I knew I wasn't going to wait. And what he told me sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Because I remember whenever I watched Into the Spider-Verse, what was the first one called? I'm sorry, Across the
Into the Spider-Verse.
Like all of these names, dude, especially with the Home trilogy, just stop. I promise you, we'll forgive you. But
it's like when I have both of my dogs both have L names. Yeah. And it's like you want to call one dog, but you say like Leia, you know, like it kind of messes you up. It's kind of too close.
So, but no, like I really did enjoy the first one. It was a breath of fresh air for what animation could be, especially in a superhero movie at that scale.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yeah. And I do find myself appreciating the animation too while I watch it in a way that I think when I watch maybe a Pixar movie, I'm just like, yeah, this is Pixar's signature. I'm good with that. I'm not paying attention to it. This one,
it's weird,
so
right?
Good, it almost distracts you. It's so good.
Pixar always gives their game 7 on their movies. And then we just expect it. And then, we have something like this and we're like, oh my God, like blew our minds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They almost had to scale back in a way, like Pixar is top level and they kind of scaled back in some other ways, but it like makes it better. Yeah. Like the way they shaded things, the way they highlighted certain things in the background and like the color bubbles, all that. It's like, oh man, it's so good. It's just the most beautiful movie to look at.
Gwen's World especially, I think, is amazing. The way they use like a watercolor system going on in there. And you could tell how emotion affects her environment. And even sound too. Like when you think of like the drums, like the way the drums hit in the world around her is just pretty cool. It's like, oh man, I would like to see more of that world. Would be neat.
Yep.
All right, and then also we have a live action Miles Morales confirmed. This is during the premiere. They were talking about it, so that is on the way. Of course it is. Miles Morales is hot right now, and it's just a good move to do that.
I don't know if you guys have seen the tweet where someone said they're going to imagine Miles Morales to be the household Spider-Man in the next 30 years. Did you see that tweet?
I didn't see that.
Like he'll be the more well-known Spider-Man over Peter Parker in 30 years, like with the new generation.
I don't know. I don't know if you could take that away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I'll kind of like agree with that is I went over to my buddy's house after Into the Spider-Verse and his little son, who was like, I don't know, 5-6 years old, was like Spider-Man. And it's Miles. That's his Spider-Man.
Well, I guess because with that generation, like I said, it's his Spider-Man. And he's the cool Spider-Man, right?
True.
Like he's the young, relatable one.
Yeah. So I think for people in our age and our generation, like Peter Parker will be our Spider-Man, but for kids coming up, they might know Miles more than Peter, which is wild for me to think, but it's kind of cool too. It's like, oh, all right, like every generation might have their own version of Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I like that a lot.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. So our Spider-Man's definitely the one with the robe and a baby.
100%.
That makes so much sense.
Are we a Peter B. Parker?
Yeah.
That's us. Yep, exactly.
He's like, honey, I didn't take her anywhere, I promise. It was some fun stuff.
Too good.
Oh man. Our full review for this, it's about 40 minutes, is over on Challenge Accepted if you guys want to check that out. We also have one coming out for The Flash, very soon, which I get to watch it. I know Thomas already got to watch it when he's basically raving how good it is. So I'm excited to see that. We're moving into Diablo 4, which, if we're being honest, we basically paused all our games to be able to record this so we can go back to play.
Yeah.
Now, Alan, you are by far the farthest along. What are your thoughts on this game?
Jesus Christ. how much time do you have? So obviously, a longtime Diablo fan. My first Diablo game was Diablo 2. I think I started playing it whenever I was in elementary school. And that is the first game that when you describe gaming to people and they say, hey, like, what games do you like to play? I think that there's like different categories, right? Especially if you play a lot. It's like, what games do you like to play casually? What games do you like to do this? Diablo was the first game that I ever played where I would queue up for a bail run and then like quickly run into the shower so I could make it back. Like the bell run was gonna, like, there was never gonna be another one ever again, right? Or like you forego eating and sleeping. Like that was my game.
Yeah.
So that's one of those, like, that's where I learned that from. And I absolutely love the Diablo series. I've always been a huge fan of it, and Diablo 4 has been nothing but incredible.
And you're going Necromancer, right?
Oh, yeah. I just, like I told you guys when we were backstage, I'm on the last quest right now to beat the game.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like not even actually released yet.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. That's impressive.
So what I will say, no spoilers, obviously, because I want everyone to be as shocked and excited as I was. The story for this is so good. But there's cutscenes through the game, but it's done on the in-game engine. But there's a cutscene toward the end whenever you get to the last act, and it is absolutely insane for Blizzard standards.
That's like, it's high praise.
Yeah, it's it's their whoever they use for their CG animated trailers and everything. It's like I said, for them, it was like, this is just, I don't know how they're ever going to top this. Like, I thought the By 3 They Come trailer was going to be peak Blizzard for a while, but then I saw this and I was like, man, this is just stupid.
Oh, as if my hype wasn't already high enough.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, I think I know what I'm doing all week.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I can't top that either.
One suggestion that I would have, it's stuff that I wish I would have known sooner. I wish I wouldn't have done any of the side quests until later.
Yes.
I think the game kind of suits itself better to just burn through the story mode and then go back and do it, because you get your mount at a certain point, and it makes backtracking so much easier for side quests. So if I had it to do over again, or if I had to give any wisdom to anyone that's about to play it, for the love of God, just do the story. I know all the side quests look great. It looks awesome, but they will be there when you're finished.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scott, he has been mentioning that he's been doing all the side quests, and he ran into a problem where the gear doesn't scale the same as the enemies you're fighting scales. And so if you do all the side quests, you'll end up getting ahead of yourself in a way to where all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I don't have gear that matches the enemies I'm fighting anymore. So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, because the dynamic leveling system, I think that would be potentially my only complaint about it, but it's a very loose complaint, right?
Yeah.
Because granted, this is coming from someone who was used to playing Diablo 2 and 3, where you had zones and monsters that were a certain level, even though Diablo 3 kind of changed that a little bit. But yeah, I can't sing its praises enough. I absolutely love it. But and it's not just because I'm a huge Diablo fan. Like, I'd still like it regardless, but I did not like Immortal. So take that.
You didn't have $100,000 to spend on a game. That's why you didn't like it. That's
I spent $100,000 on it. That's why I don't like it. I'm broke now. And all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Thomas and Kyle, you're both playing. I myself, I'm like level, I think I hit level like 25 or whatever on one character, and I'm already leveling a second character just because it's like, just having so much fun with it. Kyle and Thomas, what level are you guys? Thomas, you want to go first?
Man, I'm embarrassed to like go after that compared to you guys, man.
Don't be embarrassed. It means you're actually touching grass, dude.
I know, man.
Yeah, God.
Well, I'm not going to see sunlight the rest of the day after this, but I think I'm only at like level 6. So I'm just starting the game. This is my first foray into Diablo. So I've always been familiar with the title, but I was a good Christian boy growing up, and that was like a little bit too gnarly, I think, for me when I was growing up. But now I'm a heathen, so I've been playing, and you're right, it's like super fun to start. But yeah, I think I need to dive into it a little bit more, and I appreciate you saying just hit the story, because I'm such a completionist. I'll try to hit all the side quests, and then I will forget what the main story is and all that. So I'm gonna burn through it now to get to that mount.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like I'm a completionist with some games, like the Dark Souls series and just game series that I really like. But Diablo, like I'm playing this thing and I'm like, I have to do everything, even if my eyes bleed. I have to do everything.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. What about you, Kyle?
I'm in a similar spot to you, Thomas. I've only got to like level 8 because, I had to touch grass this weekend for my wife for her birthday. So I had to take her out.
Did she know Diablo was coming out?
Yes.
Yeah.
She couldn't push her birthday farther down the week or something?
God,
possible.
Dude, selfish, man. I hate that for you, but it is what it is, I guess.
Well, understandably, she's going to allow me to get caught up. So that's nice. But no, I played the open beta to 25, so I'm very familiar with the Necromancer up to that point, and I'm doing that again for my main playthrough. And yeah, the game's incredible. Like I can't speak enough praise about it. I love how it harkens back to its roots with that dark, gritty style in the first game and the second game. Because although I enjoyed Diablo 3 for what it was, I felt like the art style was a bit too far of a, stretch for the franchise. And I like how it's just going back to how it used to be. And that alone is worth everything to me.
Yep, 100%.
The story itself, there's like blood sacrifices and stuff like that, which the second or the third one, again, like I really like that desert zone in the third one, whatever, but way too bright for what Sanctuary is supposed to be. Yeah. And this is like you're dealing with, like I just repeated the quest actually, where you're dealing with a mom who kind of like went crazy because of Lilith and is like using her own blood to try to open a portal. And you're like, this is metal. This is so dope.
Yeah, I think that's one way to describe the game, right? The game's just metal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Alan, are you going to be cool and give Blizzard like the rights to put in a Hocus Hocus skin so that I can play as him going through hell? Maybe.
Man, I wish. Yeah, if we could do a Hocus Hocus wizard skin, that'd be killer.
Yeah. Oh shoot, that'd be so dope. Some sorceress thing and like change all the spell effects so it's like you're pulling stuff out of a hat.
Yeah, and you shoot out a pink rabbit.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, so talking about Blizzard, we're going to be heading over to BlizzCon this year, of course. November 4th and 5th. We've already got our room. Me and Squeaks are going to be shacking up together. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a meetup on November 2nd, which generally people go the day before BlizzCon just because the store is open. Like they open up the bottom floor of the convention center for the store and they have food trucks and live bands and it's amazing.
Food trucks, you had me there. Yeah.
Oh, it's so many good ones too.
Yeah, I love food trucks. So I'm from a small town in West Virginia, and we don't have a lot of them, and it hurts my heart really bad because a lot of people around here sometimes mayonnaise is too spicy, so you don't really get like a lot of variety, right?
Yeah.
So whenever we got out of town or anything like that, man, that's where like I love it.
Man, come over to San Diego for a weekend, and we'll do nothing but eat food trucks for.
No, you guys will have to wheel me out.
Easy. We could definitely do that.
Yeah. So we're gonna be going to Trader Sam's Enchanted Bar on November 2nd around 8 p.m. Come on out and hang out with us, guys, if you guys want to. We're gonna be going to, just a heads up on how BlizzCon works, we're going to a lot of bars, but I promise to be at that one at that time. So if you want to come and hang out with us, go for it. We were there a couple years ago. It's 2017, and that feels like 4 lifetimes ago. And it's just super cool. Big outdoor fireplace and just the really cool drinks and just a bunch of BSing. So come chill out with us if you guys want to. Kyle, it's your first BlizzCon, right?
It is. It'll be my first one. Really stoked to go. After all these years of watching BlizzCon online, I'm more than ready to finally experience it in person.
I'm so happy for you guys. Like BlizzCon is a bucket list thing for me too. So that's awesome. I'm glad you guys get to go.
Come on out, Alan.
Oh God. Just the trip.
There's a bunch of food trucks, man. We're just saying.
All right, I'm coming.
I tell you what you do. You make a variant cover that has something to do with Diablo on the front of it.
Yep.
And you're more than, you could just kind of hock them. We'll pull up a van and we'll open up the back doors of the van and you can sell them in the parking lot.
Man, I couldn't wait to get sued that fast. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was BlizzCon? It was great. I got sued within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what kind of predictions do you guys have for BlizzCon this year? Personally, I think we're definitely getting a new World of Warcraft expansion.
Already? I mean, we're still pretty early, aren't we?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
they kind of have like a they have like a weird like paint by numbers checklist. I feel like that they do for BlizzCon. Like we'll definitely get Warcraft news, whether it's an expansion or just a giant patch.
Yeah.
Obviously Hearthstone update and expansion. You'll get that. I think that they'll show off something for Diablo, probably a season update.
Okay.
I think they're going to show what the season progressions will be. Because I guess the first season will be coming out here soon, so it'll be like season 2 or so.
Right.
And I wish that they would show a little bit more on their survival game that they announced like 4 years ago.
That I think is the big showstopper. If they could actually show some sort of trailer to that, that would be amazing. Because Blizzard's polish on a survival game would be incredible.
Oh yeah, I don't like survival games, but I would play that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm like, oh, it's such bullshit that they do a pre-order thing, or like if you spend extra money on the collector's edition, you play 4 days early. That's so stupid. Anyways, here's my card. Yeah. Blizzard just has that with me. It's so hard. Yep. We were all gonna be strong, and we all caved on the same exact day. That was pretty bad. Yeah. So I think we're gonna get the new expansion. I'm hoping it's gonna be pirates themed finally. I know that a lot of people are saying it might be Explorer themed or something like that as well. Thomas, any predictions for BlizzCon? And you also have somebody kind of on the inside. Any ideas?
Yeah, I'm probably not the right person to ask on any Blizzard or Activision stuff, but yeah, I don't really have any predictions, but we'll see. We might be able to kind of swing some things for BlizzCon. No promises, but
of course.
Yeah, I just if I'm not injured or healing from a surgery, I would be there, and we might have some insider scoops on it. So definitely, everybody stay tuned for that. And in November,
you're going. If I have to push you in a wheelbarrow, you're going.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me and Allen, both to the food trucks.
Yep. Yeah. Park you at the food trucks. You guys could watch the cosplay.
Yep.
Oh man. It's going to be epic. So you guys come hang out with us again on November 2nd at 8 p.m. at the Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar. It's really cool. And matter of fact, I just heard that they're probably going to be demolishing that Tiki Bar. So it might be our last time there. Because so this is just kind of some news. It's like real early on, but Disney plans on, they're trying to get the approval from Anaheim to expand one of their 2 parks right there into where all those hotels are and basically double the size of the parks. And so in between the hotels will be a bunch of rides and stuff. So it's going to be big. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Wow. 2 years ago, me and my wife stayed at one of those hotels and got early access into the park. And that was so cool. But more rides and more space at Disneyland or California Adventure. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Disneyland's also a bucket list thing for me too. I'm actually going to Disney World here in 2 weeks. So
congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Super stoked. Can't wait.
Very cool.
Well, you got a place to stay, man. Come on.
Yep.
Let's make it happen.
Oh God. Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be so
I tell you what, we generally go like at least 2 days at Disneyland while we're down at BlizzCon. So I'm just saying, again, Alan, we will push you around to those food trucks.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. Not making any promises. However, I will see what I can do.
Okay, there we go. Boom. All right. So you guys heard it here first. Alan is guaranteed that he's going to BlizzCon.
Yep.
Lastly, we had the finale for both Barry and Succession. I know you guys are watching Succession. Kyle, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it was a fantastic series finale. I think easily this is the best show I've seen since Mad Men. And that to me is like one of my all-time favorite shows. And I think Succession really captures what that kind of world looks like. And, the impact of that power upon each of the siblings and how they're ill-equipped to deal with that, unlike their father. And yeah, season 4 was just a huge roller coaster of ups and downs. So it was such a great show to watch. For me, binge, because I was lucky enough to start from season 1 like a month ago to season 4 last week. So I had a great ride with it. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Man.
What do you think was your favorite aspect of the show? I'll say mine is I like how we thought we were getting character growth the entire time, but by the end you realize no, nobody changed. It's zero character growth the entire show.
But it was presented in a nuanced way. Like it kind of showcased each of their disgusting qualities and how they were each terrible people the whole entire time. And you don't really realize that at the beginning. But as you watch more of the show, it's like, oh yeah, these are terrible people. You shouldn't be rooting for them.
Yeah.
But Kieran Culkin as Roman, you just can't help but feel what he's feeling, especially with what happens in season 4. Like
Yes.
I was constantly like empathizing with him and how he was feeling. And I was just like, wow, what an incredible show. Just amazing show.
Yeah.
He
I'm only
was
on
such a highlight.
Yeah, he's impressed me so much in the show. I'm only on season 3, but yeah, the characters, you're right. Like from the start of season 1, you're like, man, these are despicable people. They're terrible. And then things happen. You're like, man, I kind of feel bad for them now. And I feel sad that they're not getting what they want. And then they do something again. You're like, nope, piece of shit. Like it just flips back and forth, man. The writing is so good. So damn good on that show.
Very much. Like for me, like, none of us really have any experience in that kind of world, but we're all human at the very end of it. And they each go through those same feelings that we go through. And you just can't help but, feel alongside them, like what they're going through. And especially with the ending, like seeing how everything turns out, you just can't help but grin at the end. Like it was so well done.
It really was. Yeah.
God.
I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to.
How am I going to play
I'm trying
Diablo?
my best not to spoil anything. It's just, you gotta watch it. It's good.
Diablo Succession. Like that's all I want to do today and the rest of the week.
At one time.
Yeah.
It's incredible. They did such a good job. And then just a quick shout out to Barry. Also did a very good job of kind of buttoning things up where Barry, you're rooting for the entire time, although he's an assassin that kills people with almost zero remorse. And by the end of that, you're like, okay, so if this is a normal show, then he would go to jail and be done forever and all would be good. No, they made it to where he's a freaking hero and everybody remembers the poor victim as like a murderer. So it was incredibly done. And if you were to tell me 10 years ago, Bill Hader, one of your favorite people from Saturday Night Live, is going to create one of the best dramas in 10 years, I would not believe you. And here he is. He created it, started it, did a hell of a good job. So if you guys are looking for something to binge and you haven't seen Barry yet, please check it out. So,
yeah, that's awesome. I would say two other things that's concluded really quick. Ted Lasso. I thought that finale was
so
really well
sad.
done. Yeah, and The Marvelous Miss Maisel. If you haven't watched that, I think that show knocked it out of the park on their series finale as well. So yeah, just throwing it out there.
It's tough, guys, because all I have now to watch is Master Chef. So it's like,
you know what's weird?
Like TV.
we went from having like a drought of like no good TV to out of nowhere. Like everything was just awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. And now all those writers are not writing anything. So we're about to have a drought again.
Yes.
Once more. Yep.
Very true.
History repeats itself.
Yeah.
Hey.
I will say that if you like Succession, HBO gave that team a new series that's coming out. It's going to start Kate Winslet as the head of a country who just took over her country. So she's like trying to manage that. So if you like Succession, there's a new one on the way, but it's a European dictatorship instead of it's the same thing as Succession, basically.
Yeah.
So, and it's Kate Winslet as going to be the new Logan Roy. That'd be dope.
Oh man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. All right, we're going to be heading into some news. First off, Resident Evil is getting a new movie, and apparently it's going to be by the same people that made Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. We've done our review for this. It was such a weird movie watching this movie because me and Daniel both went and saw it in theaters. And what we didn't realize until after the movies is we were waiting for the other person to say, you want to just walk out? And so we didn't realize that until we finished watching it all. I'm like, son of a bitch, we could have saved ourselves an hour and a half at least.
Yep.
They're kind of loyal to the games, except for the fact that they make like some of the people just look like, I don't know, bitches, really. I'm not to be mean, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like wusses. And it's like, no, that's one of the main characters. They wouldn't do that. Have you guys seen that movie yet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I thought Kyle was the easy one. I thought Kyle would have seen it for sure, but no.
Okay.
No, I stay away from the movies for that specific reason. Like the games, I love them, but the movies and TV shows, no, I stay away from.
Did you guys watch the Resident Evil TV show on Netflix?
I got through it. I'll say that.
You did? Props to you, man.
This is something about me. Okay. All right, guys, I'm so sorry to reveal this about myself.
I'm putting on my seatbelt. I'm getting ready to buckle in for this one.
There's a certain definition to this, right? I enjoy bad movies. Right. Like now, when some people think, "Oh, bad movie," you mean like Jason Statham's Death Race? You're like, no, I'm talking like movies that were made with so much heart and passion that they just turned out to be a complete piece of shit. And
Yeah.
like, you know, everyone involved in the movie is like they're giving it their all. They thought they had something special because like the movie was written, directed, produced, starred by like a real estate agent that just had too much money and he thought he could make a movie, right?
Yeah.
And it's just awful. Resident Evil TV show did that for me.
Yeah.
And it was
Believe it.
miserable. And it was amazing. And whenever I read the show notes, I thought it said a new Resident Evil series, not movie.
Mhm.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me. How did they make, like, it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Like, how did they do that? But I didn't know they were making another movie until I read that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
that
haven't heard,
show,
Yeah.
the way it ended with like a giant zombified crocodile chasing one of them through a field. It was like, I mean, and I'm talking giant as in a 2-story building. It was like,
What's
of
the
course, that's how
quote?
this ends.
What was the quote? No, they're the Resident Evil or something like that. I can't remember the quote verbatim. I got to find it. But I think I gave up on Resident Evil adaptations after the 12 movies we got.
Right.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with the. I mean, it was like maybe the second one was decent, but after that, they just
Yeah.
like didn't even follow the games at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
it's
like
a shame.
Mila Djokovic had like powers or something, right? I mean, she was like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, dude, it
flying
got
at some-
wild.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
an
it
Avenger.
turned into like
Yeah.
the Fast and Furious of Resident
and
Evil.
then they-
like
It's funny,
what-
like whenever the writers realize they've gone too far, because I think in movie like 6 or 7 they take the powers away from her,
Yeah.
and they're, you know, she loses them by some, you know, explanation that they pulled out of their ass. And then you know that they were writing like the script for it, and they were like, guys, we can't keep doing this. This is too much. Where do we go from here?
You know, it's bad when she comes out with the Monster Hunter movie. You're not sure if it's just the next Resident Evil movie. It could fit in the
Oh,
same
no.
exact universe.
Now I couldn't finish that one.
Now
I
that's a
could not
good
do it.
meme right there.
Yeah.
I couldn't even see it. I was just like, I'm not skilled enough to play the games. I'm not bored enough to watch the movie.
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah.
My mom has all those movies on collectors. Like she collects all the Resident Evil movies. She loves them so much. She's
Hey,
a big
listen,
fan.
yeah, good on her, man.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, I know. You've met my mom. She doesn't seem like a
Yeah.
person who has
No.
rendered. No, she loved them.
What?
Especially,
awesome.
she likes the third one. I think the best, the one where they're like in Vegas or whatever,
Oh,
and they have to
man.
land on top of a building. She's like, "Oh, that's dope." She's a big fan.
That's
Yeah.
something. That's
I
something.
admire her ability to enjoy it.
Yeah,
I want that for myself.
yeah. Unfortunately,
Exactly.
I can't get through them, and it's a shame because there's like so much more to the games, storyline wise, that they could be tapping in on, and they're just like, "No, we're
Mhm.
gonna focus on 1 and 2 and just repeat that story and then run it into the ground as
Right.
much as possible."
Yeah.
They're working on a new Office show, and it's going to be done by Australia, Amazon Prime. It's going to be female led. Now, when I heard that at first, I was like, "Oh, cool! It's The Office," and it's like the 11th adaptation of The Office. But I was thinking this time, the work landscape has changed so much since that show came out.
Mhm.
For their smartphones, first of all, is there anything in particular you think would be cool to add to The Office that hasn't been there since it's like 10 years old? Can you believe that, guys? It's crazy.
Amazing.
That's
That's crazy.
Yeah. Kyle, what do you think? What's different in The Office that they could be adding?
Well, post COVID, you know, remote work possibly.
Remote work, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that
That'd be
there's like some
something they
character
could
who's
add.
always working from home and he's like starting shit through
He's just
emails.
always on a
Yeah.
computer screen or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna get like a ton of Zoom calls, and then we're gonna get like middle-aged people doing TikToks, and I can't wait for that. That's gonna be great.
Someone like Creed, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Imagine Creed had TikTok. Like,
Or Michael
Yeah,
Scott
that's
having
awesome.
TikTok. Like he'd think he'd be getting
Oh.
famous.
oh my god, yeah. He's like, yeah, I got like 20 followers, and he's like, I'm killing it. Oh my god, that'd be amazing. So this
And
already
it's
sounds
just
great.
Dwight liking all this stuff.
yeah. Dwight comments on everything, favorites it. That'd be great.
Oh man. So yeah, this is the 11th one, but the United States one's the most successful version of all of them, and they're saying that this one they're bringing in like Australia's top female comedian to do this because they're like putting a lot of money behind it. It's Amazon making it, so Amazon's like, well, if we just put money in it, it'll be the better one.
Yeah, if you
And
build it, they
so-
will come easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm sure I'm going to watch it, but yeah.
Yeah, because that worked out super well for Rings of Power, right?
Oh,
Ugh, too soon.
Too
Still
my
can't
bad,
finish
my bad.
that.
I agree. Too soon.
I actually watched the whole thing and I actually liked it. So yeah.
No, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan too.
Yep.
I like anything that they do, but it still just sucks that
Oh
happened.
yeah, how's that Golem game going for you?
Oh my god.
Listen, that's a whole nother beast within itself, right?
Is
Yeah.
the
like-
title of this episode just shots fired?
Yeah,
There's like shots fired everywhere
Yep.
today.
Hashtag shots fired.
that's just wild to think about that like got made.
Yeah.
Just on the premise alone, like
That
who
is
would want to
so
play as
crazy.
Gollum? Like,
Yeah.
why?
And have to
Ooh.
sneak around the whole time. He's the guy who gets in your way in Shadow of Mordor. Like you
Yeah.
hate the Golem quest, and they're like, let's give him his own thing. No.
Yeah, let's make the whole
What the-
game just that.
Yeah.
That is
And
They're
it's
so
on
crazy.
something. I'll say that much.
Unfortunately, due to the rights systems stuff like that, we'll never get a new Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, which is actually
Yeah.
really good games. And they created the Nemesis system, which of course, again, due to copywriting and rights, we'll probably never see the Nemesis system again. It was like the first version of AI in video games. And it's I just sometimes big business gets in the way so much. Like we're seeing with the
Yeah.
whole Activision Blizzard thing, and we're just like, well, let's see how this works out and see what happens there.
Well,
Yeah.
I would argue the Gollum game needed that intervention.
That's fair. Yeah,
Like
because
the
well,
one
but I felt like
instance
the
of where
Golem,
that would be a good thing.
I felt like the
Yeah.
Golem game was made because they didn't have the rights to Shadow of Mordor anymore. So like, well, let's try to get a new version of this somehow or whatever, instead of just making another one, because it was
Mhm.
basically Assassin's Creed meets Arkham Knight. It was perfect.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Hopefully we get something new. I think the people that did the latest Harry Potter game should be in charge of the new Lord of the Rings ones too. At least that
I
was
agree
pretty
with that.
decent.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy was great.
Yeah. I still haven't finished it, but I am enjoying it.
Great game.
Too many good games. Asper cancels Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 DLCs because they're remaking them all, making them fancy and clean. This has been happening a lot lately with promised things being deleted. Overwatch 2, of course, me and Squeaks kind of went on a F-bomb rant on that one. Is there anything, what do you think the industry needs to do to kind of clean this up? Do you guys have any ideas on that?
Well, they're offering free keys as compensation for their other games. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, they're allowing you to get one free game from their library.
I mean, I can't really picture another scenario that would work better than that. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, like, why does this keep happening in the industry? Why are we having this, and why is this a problem? Are we buying games before they're finished? Is that the
Oh,
problem?
you mean like in general? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I would say it has a lot to do with consumer practices. Like we always buy copious amounts of cosmetics and DLCs and all sorts of that stuff in our battle passes.
Yeah.
That's just the industry now. And it's a successful model because we always buy into it. With games like this, where, it's a very niche market to begin with, like it's a retro game considered to be nowadays. And
Mhm.
even then, it's like 2 DLCs that only a few of that fan base would really know about. So I think it was an easily made decision on their part because they probably just didn't have the resources to continue development from their publisher, I presume is what
Yeah.
happened. So, that's all they
My
could really
problem
do.
with that, yeah, my problem with that is, and then why promise it? Like, how is that not foreseen? And then this happened to me specifically with Overwatch. I paid for early access knowing that the PvE is coming out. Even more so because me and Squeaks literally played the exact PvE at BlizzCon. I was like, this is done already. Cool, I can't wait to play this. And then they decided to cancel it. And I'm like, I paid $30 for early access to this. So where's my $30? Blizzard, come on. And then of course I spent
I think-
too much on Diablo.
Yeah, no, I think my favorite new thing that's happened was was it Arc, where they're releasing the enhanced version of Arc.
Yeah.
And then they're shutting down the servers for Arc 1 unless you buy the new version of it.
Yeah.
Like
On, like,
incredible.
the new engine. That just seems like not theft, but shit. Like if you had the
Yeah.
physical copy,
Yep. It's getting so crazy with what we're putting up with as a consumer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any consumer slowing down on that either. I think like the safest bet is to get the physical edition, but there are physical games now that don't work anymore because of this, because everything's attached to live services.
Yep.
And if for some reason you had a live action or a live copy of Ark, it's now dead. That's just crazy to me.
But you get a free copy of Ark 2.
Which, yeah, first off, Vin Diesel. So I'm good. And when is that ever coming out? They promised that thing out like 6 years ago.
Oh God. The one thing though that I will say, because I was looking into it and I was just thinking about all the Ark drama and controversy. Man, I love the game Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay.
Oh yeah.
And Vin Diesel produced it.
What the hell? I didn't know that.
He owns so he owns another company. That's what he does. He's like he's just a big nerd with money. And I think that's where we all want to be, right? But like he produced that game, and he also produced Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Dark Athena too.
Wow.
And both those games are killer. So then he bought out the studio for Ark because he just liked the game.
Pretty cool.
I mean, I guess if I had enough money, I would do the same thing. I would
dude. Oh yeah. If there's a game that we all love and we want or whatever. Oh yeah, 100%.
That makes me feel like him and Ark more.
Yeah,
which is surprising.
In a weird way, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I still do think it's just genuinely and wholeheartedly shitty about what's happening.
I mean, you can have good intentions when you strive to do something like that for the industry you're easily like passionate about, but that only goes so far.
Right. 100%.
It's all team based, and other complications arise like through publishing and all that stuff. I presume that's what happened here with this Knights of the Republic DLC fiasco.
Yeah,
the publisher just probably didn't think it was a profitable endeavor, and so they had to just axe it and move on to the next thing.
It kills me because as a consumer, you feel so powerless in the situation.
You do.
Like, my job in this agreement is to hand you money. Did that part. And so I just need you guys to do your half. And here we are. And you're going to give me a free copy of Pod Racers. I'm good. I've beaten it 400 times.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, with Overwatch 2, I mean, that was like their big promise. Like, I remember at BlizzCon when they announced it, they had that huge trailer of all of them working together. And that was like the vision for single player.
Well, yeah, that was their whole reason for the game being the way that it was in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was Project Titan before it was Overwatch, and it was always going to be the pay PvE, and then they kind of scapegoated and made it PvP. But that was before release of the first game. And so this is going to promise to bring Project Titan out, this like actual world building, because that's the other thing with Overwatch. The lore is so incredible. Like, it's some of the best lore that Blizzard's ever written. And it's not in the game. You have to go to the comic books. You have to go to everything else around it.
Yep.
And the incredible cinematics. And it's like, just give us an actual game that shows us this. And that'd be great. I think that was the same year that they like told everybody they're going to put Heroes of the Storm on the back burner. And it was, you have a great game. Just, I don't know, advertise it better or something like that. Because that is a perfect game.
Hot still cuts deep for me.
Yeah.
I loved Heroes of the Storm so much.
And I think it would survive better in the long run because it's not like, I feel when you go to League of Legends, when I play League of Legends, I always feel like I'm behind the ball. I'm like, oh, I've stopped playing for 3 months, so I don't know how to play anymore.
HOTS was the fun MOBA.
Team based.
Yeah, HOTS was the fun one. It was the one that was easily to grasp, and you still found people that were just leagues above you, but you still watch them play, and you're like, I bet I could do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't do that with League of Legends for sure.
You cannot. No. And I played Dota too to try to fill the HOTS void, but thank God Diablo's out.
God, Dota too. That props to you for even being able to do that at all.
But the next game that I am absolutely stoked about is Baldur's Gate 3. I'm so pumped for that.
Yeah, I know Takero's gonna be playing that one as well, so he'll be doing our review for that because he was like, man, like the old Baldur's Gate game he thought was incredible, and now he's starting to play D&D, so he's starting to like see that it's all D&D based. It's like, yeah, that's Baldur's Gate, and so he's pretty excited about it. All right, let's go into our watch list. We have the June watch list out, and these are the top picks. I'll just go over a couple of my favorites. If there's anything in particular you guys want to make sure to give a shout out for and let people know about, let me know. For Netflix, we've got The Witcher Season 3 Part 1 is coming out June 29th. This is the end of Henry Cavill as The Witcher, so that's going to be a good one. Over on Hulu, we've got It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, starts on June 8th. That's a must-watch for me. Righteous Gemstones, June 18th on HBO Max.
Thank God, I've been waiting for that forever.
Dude, I fucking love that shit. We always, as soon as that starts, me, Squeaks, and Tagura or Daniel just send each other GIFs all the time of different Righteous Gemstone stuff.
Mhm.
All the time. And season 2, so I'm rewatching it right now just to kind of hype myself up. Disney Plus, we've got Secret Invasion starting June 21st, which over on Challenge Accepted, we're going to be reviewing every episode. Come hang out with us. And Paramount Plus, we have Star Trek Strange New World Season 2 starting June 15th. And we have a new convert to the Star Trek universe with Thomas watching this show now. What are you looking forward to in Season 2? And you're brand new to Star Trek.
I am, yeah. I mean, I've watched the movies, but thanks to Challenge Accepted, you made me watch, I want to say, a Voyager episode.
Yep.
And I watched it over and over and over again to like really take it all in. And then hearing you and your brother talk about it just got my level, like my hype level to the max. So I went back, started watching Strange New Worlds, and I'm like, damn, this is really good. These concepts are crazy. So I'm not fully done with it yet, but I am excited for Strange New Worlds Season 2. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's now, they have announced that it's going to be the new tentpole series, because Discovery was the old one, but that's ending with it the next season. So now, if you guys are into Star Trek, that's the one to watch. And then all the upcoming movies and shows will branch off from this show. So kind of keep that in mind. It's the next generation or TOS of Star Trek now. And I would say Righteous Gemstones is probably my most hyped thing coming up, because that show, if you haven't seen it yet, I think it's Danny McBride's best show. And I know that's a big thing to say with Eastbound and Down out there, but I still think Righteous Gemstones is the best. Yeah. John Goodman. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So good.
I want to throw out there The Bear. If you haven't watched The Bear Season 1, like go back and watch it. That show blew me away. I'm so pumped about Season 2 coming out. So damn good.
I haven't watched it yet.
So that's a Challenge Accepted for sure. Yeah.
What's The Bear about?
It's a cooking show, right?
Yeah, it's these two brothers who are in Chicago. One goes off to be a top level chef. He does it, goes through all this trauma, and then his brother, who owns a sandwich shop, kind of like a deli in Chicago, passes away and leaves the shop to his brother. So now the brother has to come back and take over it, but he's got his own problems and issues, and it's got hilarious cast. I mean, just well written. It kind of, nobody's like dying in it. It's not like, but you know, Barry has drama with some comedy. Mm-hmm. There's that. And then when it's funny, it's really funny. But when they do the drama, oh my God, it just so damn good. So yeah, I can't talk enough about how good the Bear is.
I hear it's like a high tension show. Like part of it is the anxiety inducing moments.
Yeah. Kind of like Beef. So if you've watched Beef and you dug that, you're going to definitely dig this, but it's not, it doesn't really like follow. It's not really sequential. Like things just kind of just happen. I don't know. It's just amazing. I can't even explain it. I'm not doing a great job, but The Bear is just so damn good. The acting, the whole cast, the people that they bring in, it's just phenomenal.
Okay. I'm looking forward to checking it out then.
Mm-hmm.
Any other suggestions for this month, guys, before we get going?
I just got to ask, how is Sunny in Philadelphia on season 16?
Right.
Because it's a perfect show. That's how it's on.
Yeah.
And I know from photos on Twitter that they go to Wrexham, so I'm happy with that too, because Welcome to Wrexham is also a fantastic show. And Rob McElhenney owns a freaking team over there. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, for the sports nerds out there too, like they also won and they got promoted. Like talk about
spoilers
like
for season
story.
2 that's not even out yet, man.
Yeah, I mean that's just like news though. That you know what I mean? But yeah, like that's crazy. They buy this soccer team and nobody knows about it in the middle of Wales, nowhere, and then they do it and they get to the finals and then get promoted.
It's a Ted Lasso story, right?
Yeah, right. But in real life, it's insane. So yeah, watch Welcome to Wrexham, and then obviously we have It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia 16. Oh my God, what a year!
Very good. It is really good year for TV. All right, we're moving on to our special guest, Allen Dunford. Allen, you have made Top Hat Studios, which has made Grandma Chainsaw. You've got Hocus Hocus and also Horus and Hell, and there's a lot of one-offs that you do that are excellent. There's the painting one. There's all kinds of good stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about the different comic books you have, and then why you decided to bring in Horus and Hell into its own series?
Hang on, Frank. I'm sorry. My throat is very parched. I need to take drink from this.
As he shows his Geek Freaks mug.
That's the newer one,
nice
too. That's
plug.
a classy one.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm just thinking of Wayne's World right now. where they're like drinking the Pepsi and eating the pizza, the Domino's and everything.
This
I
makes
can't
my
wait how long it
coffee.
took for him to take a drink.
Yeah, this makes my coffee feel new and refreshing, much like Geek Freaks with their takes on all things in the nerd culture.
Damn.
Perfection. Your check is in the mail, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. So again, my name's Allen Dunford. I started writing comic books probably about 2 years ago. It's kind of crazy to think it hasn't been that long ago. So yeah, 2.5 years ago. We started with a series called Pocus Hocus, and that is just it's a Faustian tale. So it's about a guy who sells a soul to a demon to have actual magical powers. He's a magician. He's trying to impress his father. And as these things go, when you sell your soul to a demon, it doesn't work out in his favor. I promise the book's way funnier than what we're making it out to be.
It really is.
So after we did Pocus Hocus, we kind of had that itch to make something that was our version of a slasher. So we landed on a book called Grandma Chainsaw. And it is about, it kind of does what it says on the label. It's a killer grandma with a chainsaw. We'll kind of leave it there because there's a lot more that happens around it. I feel like I'm underselling it a little bit.
You have to undersell it or you reveal too much is the problem with that book.
Yeah, it's funny whenever I talk about it with people and they give me the review, we all get the same responses. I didn't expect that and I didn't see the ending coming, which is, and I hope that's in a good way because, I didn't expect the Resident Evil series. And I didn't expect any of it coming, and I hated every bit of it. But yeah, we just we're almost done with Grandma Chainsaw 2. That campaign ended not that long ago, so all the backers definitely be getting ready to check your emails because we are almost done with it. I think we only have I think Brian only has 2 pages left, 2 or 3 pages, and that one's in the book. That one's in the can.
My white whale right there with Brian.
Yes,
I'm someday going to interview him.
Believe me, I just want a phone call with the guy just to tell him thank you for everything that he's done.
Outstanding.
So we originally with Bad Bug Media, and they asked us to help them with or participate in a anthology series that they had called Roseblood Manor, where we got to make 2 short stories for them. Both are 8 pages, so you could find those in issue 1 and issue 2. Issue 1 involves an aristocrat who tries to buy an expensive painting, and he gets more than what he bargains for. And then the other one is about a serial killer who learns that his purpose is to actually be the true victim. Yeah. So we had a lot of fun making that. But now we're where we are with Horus in Hell. So Horus in Hell is, in short, just about a pink rabbit from hell who happens to be accidentally pledged his servitude to a stupid drunk magician, and he has to kind of come to terms with that. And one night the magician says he has a new trick to show him, and he opens up a portal to hell through his hat, and he passes out before he can close the portal. So the series is going to follow Horus trying to close that portal, and you'll never guess where he goes. So he gets pulled straight back into hell, and he's going to meet a couple familiar faces down there that he's been with before, because we find out at the beginning he was a general in Hell's army, and we try to have a lot of fun with it. The artist for that is Kit Wallace. He's done covers for us for everything that we've done. We love his artwork so much. He's a fantastic guy to work with. And while Brian's busy hammering out other stuff for us, we thought, hey, let's go and just throw this one to Kit. And we know that he's going to do a great job. And it's going to be kind of a good departure from what we do. And this is like how we'd like to describe it, a demented Saturday morning cartoon.
There it is. Because it's got a very big, bonkers, kind of like this big Saturday morning cartoon where, when somebody's laughing, it's to the extreme where you're almost like, oh, everything's maniacal. Yeah. And so it's really cool. And then there are, speaking of Horus in Hell specifically, when you're in the first few pages, when you're seeing Horus as a general in hell, the visuals of seeing the army from heaven and army in hell, and then you got this pink rabbit versus Gabriel this night. Yeah. It's just everything is to an 11. This is Ren and Stimpy or whatever. This is so fun.
Yeah, we really definitely cranked it up on this one with what we could get by with.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I want you guys to check this out. Top Hat Studios is doing so well, and now you guys have a podcast, and it's outstanding. We're jealous of how good your podcast is. Me and Joey talk about it often, but this son of a bitch, he talks to podcasters all the time, then he launches his own. It's freaking fascinating. Let people know about your podcast too.
Yeah, a friend of mine, his name's Caleb Palmquist. He's written such books as Vampire Detective in Space and Unicorn Vampire Hunter. Those are his two biggest ones.
Yeah.
We decided to go and get together and just bestow our crappy knowledge to people. So the podcast itself, it's one word. It's just called Crowd Blunders. So we just talk about where we've messed up in crowdfunding. We have a couple guests on just to talk about what they've done, where they've messed up, and what they've learned. Whenever we were kind of exploring the space and we were talking about it, we were like, well, let's just try to do something that, you write what you know. And we're really good at screwing up. So we thought that, hey, if we have a podcast about us screwing up, maybe someone can learn from it and not make the same mistakes we did. Because crowdfunding it's a beast, man. It's you never know what you're going to get. You can never predict how well a campaign's going to do. It's wild. And I think that's one of the things too with Horus and Hell. We're very excited for it, but we're also nervous because it does feel like a departure a little bit from what we're used to, but we still keep everything within the same vein. And Horus is a spinoff series for Pocus Hocus because it's the origin of Pocus's pink rabbit, Horus. But we tried to write it in a way where if you've never read Pocus or have no interest in it, you can pick up Horus and Hell and then know exactly what's happening.
That's awesome.
One thing I find interesting with how the artwork changes too, because Horus looks so different obviously it's different artists in Pocus Hocus. I kind of like to think that Horus in Hell is how Horus sees the world with all the extremes versus how Pocus, who's a little more grounded, that's funny to say, who literally knows magic, sells his soul to a demon. But how he sees things a little bit more grounded. So the two work really well together. What are some of the things you've learned in your kickstarting, success, really, if we're being honest, and that maybe you'd be sharing on the podcast and something that you're using with this Horus campaign coming up?
Be smart with, especially with your budget, and be smart with what you do and how you promote it and how you partner. So our letterer and designer, Dave, he actually made a cover for us, and it's a Hellboy homage cover. And whenever he said he wanted to do it, I was like, yeah, man, sure. Yeah. Whatever. If you're feeling it, go for it. And the cover was just so well done. I don't know if you've seen the original Hellboy in Hell cover, but he did such an incredible job with it. But Dave also has a book running that he wrote with Caleb. It's called Space Monkey Knights Go. And it's about, Dave is such a huge
Caleb
teenage
knows how to name books. I got to throw that out there real quick.
Right. So Space Monkey Knights Go is Dave's love letter to, he's a huge Ninja Turtles fan. So it's his love letter to that because it's about 4 monkeys who are supposed to travel in space, and they have a cybernetic robot that accidentally changes all the programming they were supposed to be watching while they were sleeping to King Arthur stories. So the monkeys, when they come out of their cryo sleep,
cool.
they think that they're knights in an Arthurian tale. So they're traveling the universe as space monkey knights instead of supposed to be teaching and learning.
Wow.
Yeah. So what we're doing with them, we're both launching on June the 13th, and we're doing a cross promotion print where if you back our campaign and their campaign at a physical tier for both, then you get a crossover print of Horus and the Space Monkey Knights. So it's just you try to do fun things and maybe capture a new audience. Yeah. Because that's the thing, right? Like you can stay stagnant. You can just stay, which is great. Having return people is what you want, but you also still want to try to branch out and be able to capture new people because you want your audience to grow. And if you're growing, that means the team's growing and everyone's getting more eyes on it. And it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. We have a playlist on Spotify, and I'll link to it in the description, guys, of every interview I've had with Allen. And even you could see just the growth within the interviews, even of how much you and the crew it's a team, really, a really good team, have grown over the years, and how you guys gone from like this kind of pandemic idea to a second career, hopefully someday your primary career. And just your publishers and everything like that have expanded. Jason and all them, their team at the team is really good. So check it out, guys. Links in the description. Also, it's incredibly important. I'll link it again, to the campaign for Horus and Hell. It's not going to launch when this thing comes out yet, but you can go there and get notified. And when more people click on that notify thing, the more Kickstarter boosts it up when it first launches. So it's important that everybody clicks that notify thing. Doesn't cost you a bit, but it helps the campaign. So check that out.
100%. Yeah. And thank you guys too. And, obviously we've talked about it behind the scenes a little bit, Frank, but, I speak for everyone on the team too. Thank you everyone at Geek Freaks for always being so welcoming. Joystick, I can't wait to come back on and talk to you guys too. And it's just been so awesome for how well the community has received us and welcomed us in, especially, whenever you're new and you're trying to find your footing. And, the other announcement that we have to make, we can't exactly reveal the date yet, but Pocus Hocus is going to be on comic book shelves this year. And we're really excited about that. So, I sent over the log lines for what's going to be put in previews and in Diamond. So I'll let you guys know whenever we're in previews magazines, so we can try to beg people to go to their local comic shops and pre-order that bad boy.
We're going to do, when that happens, we're going to do a phone call campaign where we're going to get people to call their local comic book shops and request it, because that's how you get them to actually order through Diamond. It's a whole thing, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do that. Once we know that it's in their preview books, then we're going to be like, all right, everybody, here's the local number for your local comic book shop.
And here's a previews code. Yeah. So it's, and it's kind of cool because we have, we'll just call them, it's weird to say that something I have could potentially be seen as a collector's item, but it's going to be all 4 new covers for Pocus 1 through 4 for the first arc that's coming out in shops. So everything that you buy on Kickstarter is going to be a Kickstarter exclusive cover, whether we say it or not, because how Source Point likes to do it, they want all new covers when it goes to the shops, and I totally get that.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. All right, guys. Again, everything's in the description. Yeah. You better start saving. Collecting cans now. All right. On our way out, let's go with our recommendations for the week. I'll start us off with Immortal Phoenix Rising. The reason I'm suggesting this game, it's out of Ubisoft. It's an excellent follow-up to Zelda. If you guys are all playing Zelda and you're actually at the end of the game and you're needing something kind of in that same artistic style, something of a bit of the gameplay without the building too much, I would check out Immortal Phoenix Rising. It is only $15 for the PS5 version on Amazon right now. It's a heck of a sale they got going on. And again, it really has some of those Zelda vibes, but it's from Ubisoft. So, take that with a grain of salt. But, all right. Who wants to go next for their suggestion, their recommendation?
I think I would suggest Diablo 4.
Oh, is that a good one?
Yeah, it's been okay.
Yeah. Really? You would have never guessed.
Yeah, Diablo 4. Okay, that's it. That's all I have to say about
it. Yeah. Definitely, Kyle?
Yeah, I've actually been watching From. It's a new show on Amazon, I believe, through MGM. Okay. And it stars Harold Perrineau, previously an actor from one of my favorite shows of all time, Lost. And really cool supernatural show where these people are stuck in a town they can't leave under threat of monsters in the woods, and there's a lot of twists and turns along the way. So really cool show. I highly recommend it.
That is such good. I loved Wayward Pines and Under the Dome. That feels like both of those. So
exactly, yeah,
for sure. That's cool.
Yeah,
writing that down.
What do you got, adding that to the list for sure. Yeah. And everything we talked about today, I mean, there's so much good things to watch and play right now. It's like, what a good time to be like a geek and just a fan of things. It's oh man. So I don't think we have anything else to add on top of that. At least I don't. But for challenge accepted, if you have not checked it out, we really appreciate it. And we have a fun kind of charity competition going on for the year. If we hit 10,000 or closer to 10,000 downloads, Frank will get a nice charitable donation towards his food bank, and I will have to wear a Cowboys hat. And then if it's closer to 5,000, I will have to wear Frank's. I will have to wear the Cowboys hat. Or you would have to wear a Seahawks hat.
Seahawks hat, yeah.
Oh, Seahawks.
And we will have also
Dallas Cowboys. I was thinking like a 10-gallon hat. I was like, that's kind of cool.
That's if we get to 1,200 or 12,000.
If we get 12,000, he'll definitely
I was like, man, why are you so bummed about wearing a cowboy hat? I mean, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
No, I've been thinking about it. I think as things goes on, I have an idea, Thomas. I'm pitching it to you right now here at Geek Freaks. If something comes up where I want you to watch Cats 2 or something like that, I'll chip in an extra 25 cans to the pool. That'll go to one of our charities. So I'm thinking we could add that as we go on throughout the year. So
how about I just already donate the extra 25 and then skip that? That'd be great.
That's great. Yeah.
Watching Cats, guys, was one of our, and it's a popular episode of Challenge Accepted, but that was a tough one to do, is watching Cats.
we need, we're putting this lightly in quotes, but we need another dumpster fire episode. If you have something that's terrible, maybe it's the Resident Evil series.
No, you guys just email me or text me. I have a ton of movies I can send your way, and you guys will never invite me back to your show ever again.
All right, well,
that's a good idea. Actually, now I'm thinking I'm writing it down.
Kind of looking forward to that, kind of not. But yeah, please help us out, because either way, great organizations are going to get some charity donated to them, and we really want to hear what you guys think. So yeah, check out Challenge Accepted. Oh, and last thing, The Machine is out with Burt Kreischer and Mark Hamill. So I haven't watched it yet, but go see that.
I'm gonna probably watch it next weekend. Yeah, there's so many movies to watch. But so anyways, the donations, it's either going to be to Thomas's food bank or my food bank. And so help us out with that, guys. It's all based off listen, so come hang out with us at Challenge Accepted. That's it for this week. Thank you guys very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.